Welcome to the channel. This is Chris from Off-Road Nation 606. So today we're going to start on the roll cage. So it did just recently come in, and I went with the Exofab hybrid cage. So I've got most of it sitting back here in the Jeep, and the other pieces are laying there. So the reason I wanted to go with the Exofab cage is what I was seeing is it takes up the least amount of room inside, and especially where I done the racing seats, I wanted to have it where I could have more room in the cab. And I liked how the Exofab cage, I like how it had the roof part and then it tied into the front fenders. I've even thought about maybe after I put the top section on, adding a bar to go down here on the armor, maybe one in the back too. In the future I could always add a windshield bar. That just gives it a little extra support. That's one thing I really liked about their cage. It'd be real easy to do add-ons. I mean, I could even add a bar and go right here and even tie it into the front bumper, one or two. There's just so many different things you can do with that cage. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and take all that out. And since I'm gonna be doing the roof part first, I may pull the Jeep out and go ahead and build all this in the floor and tag it together, and then we'll pull the Jeep back in, and I want to kind of set it up there and make sure everything lines up right. Okay, so everything is now unloaded out of the Jeep. So right there is the whole kit. So if you'll notice on these pieces, they do label everything, so that will definitely help out a lot. And in the email that they send you when you buy the kit, they will show you each piece. So in case you're wondering how they do the inside part, is you got these floor plates that's going to sit on the floorboard, and you'll weld your tube to that. Now that's going to help also if you roll over, because if you was to just put the tube on the floorboard and roll the Jeep over, that cage is going to poke straight through that floorboard. If you got these plates here, that's going to help out with that. Because if you punch through the floorboard in this big an area, you're going to have a lot more problems than worrying about the cage anyway. So the next thing we're going to do is I've got the two halo pieces out. That's the pieces that's got the 90-degree bends. So they cut this in several pieces for shipping. And the kit also includes a couple pieces of tube. I think there's 3 pieces. And it's a little bit smaller. That way it will slide in there. And then you'll be able to slide your other piece up over that one. And what that's going to do is give it a little bit more strength. Because if you just try to weld them side by side, it's not going to be as strong as if you had that piece in there. I'm thinking about drilling a hole on this end and that piece there. That way when this slides in, you'll have another place to weld also, which will just give it a little bit more strength. The kit don't say to do that, but I think it'll give it a lot more strength like that. Alright, after you get that done, I just been laying out some of the pieces I'm going to be needing next. So here is the halo extensions. So we got to extend it at the end, same way on the other side. And we're going to do the same way that we done on the middle there. They've got some smaller pieces of the tube that slides in that. And I'm wanting to also cut out 2 hoses like I did there. That way there'll be a better place to weld to, and just make it a little bit stronger. So it might be hard to see, but the email that they give you, they label everything. It shows you what each piece is. So now that the extension pieces are on, now I'm gonna go ahead and start fitting up the middle pieces. So now I got everything put together and it's all tacked up. So basically just follow the instructions that they send you at the email and just do each section at a time. So I did the front section, middle, then the back. And if you do it like that and make sure everything lines up and have no gaps, then everything should be okay. I'm going to leave it tacked like that for a while because I'm going to test fit it on the roof. But before I do that, I am going to start marking for the hose on the roof. That way I can run the bar through. But I don't want to take this off and on too many times because it is actually getting pretty heavy. Now something also, after you're putting the bars in, you might notice there's a little bit of gap because these 2 ends, they might be out a little bit. And what you might have to do is take a ratchet strap and put it on both ends, and that will squeeze them bars together. So the next thing I need to do is I need to get the measurements for the roof, and they give you that in the email. So this Jeep is pretty tall, and I've kind of decided a couple things I want to do to bring this down a little bit lower. That way it's a lot easier to install the cage, the top part. And I'm going to have to test fit it a couple times, and I'll have to put the top halo section on probably 4 or 5 times before I finally weld it all in, since there is room for adjustments. So I was thinking either air these tires down or put some smaller wheels on there. So I had these 8-lug wheels. Those were on the axles whenever I got them from the junkyard. I done the Dana 60s. And I had some smaller tires laying around, so I actually got these on 225s. So I'm going to mount these on here, and that should bring the Jeep low enough to work on the cage. That'll make it a whole lot easier. And I can probably get my engine hoist, 'cause right now it's just too tall for that. So if I put those on, that will help a lot with this install, I believe. Right now the Jeep has 235s on it. Definitely a whole lot shorter. It's kind of funny looking. But this will definitely make it a whole lot easier. So I'm using my engine hoist to put the top section of the cage on. I did have to extend it just a little bit. I had a piece of square tubing, so I just drilled some hose out to extend that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and lay this cage down, and I'm going to see about where it needs to sit at and make sure the measurements they give me is close, because I might move this back just a little bit, just depending on the way it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and lower this. So got the cage sitting up there, and I've been going around just getting a couple measurements. Decided that I think I'm going to pull this back about at least a ½ inch to 1 inch, just to leave me more room for the front seats. And I've got it back far enough to where when I open the hatch, it'll still clear the bars. So I think right there where I have it, which is about around a ½ inch back from the factory measurements, I think that's as far as I'm going to be able to go. I might end up, if there's still not enough room back here, I may try to do some custom bins, but I'm going to see how it is first, because I'm 6 foot tall and I do need these seats to go back as far as possible. So I got all the holes cut out and the bars ran through. So as you can see, I got it in the back now, and I also done the ones in the main back, the C-pillar. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull this top section back off. I've already pre-fit the A-pillar bars. Even though I might took the fenders off, I did go ahead and try them. They do fit pretty good. So what I want to do is go ahead, take this top section off and get it ready to be painted. And I'm probably going to paint all the interior bars and then the bars that run down here. And I'll probably just tape off the areas to weld, because as low as this cage sits to the roof, I mean, that's going to be insanely hard to try to get up in there and paint all that. So before I actually weld all that up, I'm going to go ahead and paint it. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull these front fenders off. Now you're probably wondering why I didn't go ahead and do that. Main reason is these bars, all I have to do is trim a little bit off to make it match to the rock slider. And the part that touches the top of the exo cage, that's going to fit the same no matter what. So I just have to trim the bottom section off. I wanted to go ahead and pull that off real quick. That way I can go ahead and get it painted, because it'll have to sit a couple days. And I'm wanting to match that with the Raptor liner. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this front header panel off and get the front fenders off. So now that everything is pre-fit, everything measured out right, now I'm going to go ahead and put some primer on all the bars and go ahead and paint them. So it's a couple days later now. The cage is dried, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I've got the straps on, and now I'm gonna go ahead and hook the engine hoist back up to it, and we can get ready to reinstall the cage, and this time we can fully weld it up. That way it'll be permanent. So I highly recommend, if you do this cage, before you weld the top section on and all your bars, to go ahead and paint those, because this cage sits just within like an inch from the roof of the Jeep, and that would make it insanely hard to paint. So the cage is back on, and I've got it lined up and measured back where it needs to be. So I think what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna go ahead and tack the top sections, and then I'll come on the inside and tack all the floor plates. But before you weld this up completely solid, I would definitely make sure that all the bars fit exactly where you need them to. Make sure there ain't no big gaps. You definitely don't want that. Make sure your interior bars, make sure that they're going to fit right. Okay, so I got everything welded up exactly where it needs to be, and I got the front bars on for the A-pillars. I've got them tied into the rock slider. And now that the bars for the B-pillars behind the front seats, now that they're in place, now I can go ahead and weld the middle bar up. I went ahead and welded the bar for the C-pillar, the middle bar. So I just need to go ahead and now weld everything up completely solid, and then we can touch up a couple areas that we wasn't able to get. Alright, so now I'm going to work on the passenger side fender. So I added some tape on this section, that way when I go to make the cut, that'll help protect the paint, help keep it from chipping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up as best as I can, close as possible. I'm going to take a Sharpie, kind of make a line about where I think I need to make the cut. So I got that pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start cutting. Okay, so I cut 2 spots out, and that will allow me to fold that back, and now I can test fit to see if I need to go any wider on that. Alright, so width wise, I've got the measurement where I need it, so now I need to go ahead and cut all the way down to the rest of it. And it looks like the way I've got it, I'm gonna need to cut to this body line right here. So I think to make that a perfect circle, I'm wanting to use a hole saw bit. Probably use the ones I used for the roof when I done the cage for the top section. So I'll probably do that. That way that'll make a perfect circle, and then we'll cut the rest of this out and smooth it on out. Alright, got the fender cut the way I want it. I did trim just a shade too much on this side, but overall I think it looks pretty good. It's just hard to get all the measurements right, because the way the fender lines up, sometimes the fender needs to be up a little higher on this side, and it's just hard to get the true measurement of it. But And I already got the other side done too. I'm pretty happy with it. I also went ahead and mounted a light bar and 2 LED pods to the bottom of it. So I just made a little bracket to weld on there for the light bar. So I got that light bar off Matt from Bleepin' Jeep. I bought it off of him last year at Jeep Invasion. It's a rough country brand, so hopefully it'll be pretty good. I'd say it will be. So the cage now is about 99% done. I just gotta go back with some Raptor liner and touch up those spots I had to weld. And then I got to get some seam sealer or some kind of silicone and seal the hose up where the cage had to go through the roof. Good thing is, if you use the hose saw bit, the tubing fits pretty tight in there, so that will be really easy to seal up. You don't have to worry about trying to seal a big hole up. And I got the rear bar mounted, so it still leaves plenty of room inside. And then got the bar in the back mounted. Just got to clean a couple areas up and paint them with the Raptor liner. And I've been trying to decide whether I want to bolt these plates down or just weld them up. Not really decided on that. I might try to bolt them if I can get to the bottom of them easy. And then I'll be able to come in and paint all this floorboard up. I'll be doing that here very soon, so this floorboard definitely needs to be painted. Probably do that in the Raptor also. But overall, I'm very happy with this cage. Really like this design. It'd be real easy to add more tubing in the future if I wanted to. I could always add stuff in the middle here. I'll feel a lot better taking this up in the hills knowing I got a cage now. But hopefully we don't ever need it. Alright, so I'm not going to bore you with those last few things that I got to do to it. It's just some simple stuff. Won't take very long. So now that that's done, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the boggers back on. But I think I'm going to do one thing before I do that. Alright, so here's the final piece of the cage put all together. So I really like the way it turned out. And inside, here's the bar behind the seats. I might eventually move this back just to make more room, but I do like how it turned out. And also got the bar in the main back. So I never did do the outro showing the final version of the cage. So the reason I'm in a parking lot right now, I just arrived for the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. But I definitely think it turned out great. Still leaves a decent amount of room for the front seats, but I may eventually move that on back just a little bit more. But so far, pretty happy with it. But I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.